I am more thrilled to have you here today because you are one of Colorado's top flower farmers.
Oh my gosh.
So let's talk about this. Gina, what's your background? Where'd you start?
I did not start in farming, for one. I definitely just started as a home gardener. I grew up in gardens in Ohio, always gardened, and then it's just kind of came back into my life in my 40s. So it was like in my blood, I think, but I didn't have a background. I didn't go to school for ag, nothing like that.
So what was your previous career? Because you made the switch later in life to leave, in essence, corporate America. Mm-hmm. Tell us about that. You were in corporate doing what?
So I used to work for Owens Corning. I was selling fiberglass insulation to builders, architects, like totally different. I was in marketing and sales for them. In Ohio, they transferred me out here. And I loved doing that. Like I loved traveling and talking to people and marketing and sales. But it wasn't until I started to have children that I kind of changed route.
Yeah, you changed directions. And why did you decide to change directions? What came to you? Did you have an aha moment or something?
Well, I'm like a poster child for a latchkey kid. I grew up in the 80s. My mother passed away when I was really young, so I grew up with a single dad and my brother, and so I was always at home by myself. And so once I started to have children, I just realized I didn't want them to come home to an empty house. And so I wanted to be there and do that. So it was hard to leave my job, my career, because I loved it and felt really independent, making my own money and all of those things, which is really, really great, but then you have children and it's like I had to make this change. I tried to do it part-time, but traveling on the road, nursing, like all of those things just did not work well together. So I chose to stay at home, raise my kids, and that's when really my gardening kind of love took off as an adult and got me to where I am today. But that was the first catalyst, was like wanting to stay at home, doing them. And then I realized I wanted my kids to be outside, not in front of a TV or computer, video games and all of that. So gardening is something that you can do outside when you have young kids, or, it's really interactive. I just love doing that. And it turned into starting a community garden, starting a school farm, doing all of those things for free, and then realizing, gosh, I'm kind of good at this. I think I could do this for a career. And then that's when I decided to give it a go.
You mentioned something, and that was about your mother.
Mm-hmm.
How old were you when you lost your mother? And do you feel that the gardening just somehow came through her to you at whatever age it is that you had this experience?
Yes, my mother, Barbara, her name was Barbara. Yes, her name was Barbara, but she died of cervical cancer when I was 2 years old. And so, but before she died, she planted a garden. And so I feel like I grew up in her garden, and I definitely feel like I connected with her through that because so many of my neighbors would tell me stories of my mom in the garden. And so I kind of knew my mom through all of these stories. And so I loved going to the garden. I loved, I was too young to remember any goodbyes that she had with me, but I'm pretty sure she probably would have said, "I'll be with you in the garden." And so I started just talking a lot, talking to my neighbors, talking to whoever I could that liked gardening. And we had the idea to propose a community garden to the city in this empty lot. And so we went in and they said yes, it was amazing. So they went in. The garden is now 12 years old, I think. And so now it's 100 plots. So that community garden has 100 15 by 15 plots, and everyone, the water's there, the tools there. People know how to garden, so you can learn from people. And so, it was a 3-year process of calling the city council member, telling them my idea, doing community surveys, the whole 9 yards. Also worked with Denver Urban Gardens. So they were they gave me some
tools
to use with the city. Be like, okay, let's go into the city. I have this Denver Urban Gardens who's going to back me up, and they know how to do this because I didn't know how to do it. And they came in and really taught me how to design a community garden, how to run it. They have programs, all sorts of things. So they were instrumental.
Let's talk about the flower farm. You all then moved from that home where the community garden in Arvada. You just moved pretty much a few streets over.
Yeah, a few miles away.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we rented a home while we were looking for land. So we always knew that we sold our one house, we rented so we could be positioned well when the right property came up. We looked for literally like 7.5 years. Looked and looked and looked and looked. And this is when we were filming urban conversion and doing all of that. And then we decided that like it just was not going to happen. Like we can't, land is too expensive. We just can't find the right property. And then one day, Rodman and I got in an argument and he went for a long walk and literally saw the for sale sign like go in the lot of this house that had 3 acres right in the middle of Arvada. You would never find it because suburbs had went up around it, but it was just perfect for us because it wasn't too big, you know, and it was still in Arvada, close to Denver. Our kids could stay in the same school, and it all just fell into place. And so then we grabbed it.
My question is, originally, what kind of flowers did you want to grow, which has now become something it seems to be a lot more.
Yeah, a lot more than I had originally
than the original thought.
Yes. So I originally wanted to do all lavender because I've always loved natural skincare. I've always made my own products. And we actually went on an RV trip around Washington State, and we just randomly stayed on a lavender farm, and it was like their lavender festival. And all of these lavender farms had big like retail shops, little gift shops filled with lavender products, and they all just grew one type of plant, just lavender. And it just dawned on me that I could do that in Colorado because lavender loves dry, arid, sunny conditions, grows great in Colorado. And so that's how I started. I wanted to just be lavender, but lavender takes a while to get going, and you know, it's slow growing, it's a perennial. Yeah.
When you say slow going, how long are we talking for lavender?
I mean, 3 years to where you get your first big flush that you can harvest. So in the meantime, I took a flower farming workshop online and started to learn cut flowers. And I love cut flowers because you can design for weddings. I have an art background in college, so I love just the beauty of cut flowers and being able to create beautiful things for events. So I started doing all the cut flowers, and so now I do both. So now I have flowers from April all the way through October.
We're going to talk about France.
Oh, yes.
We are talking about France.
Let's talk about France.
My goodness, you were there for 2 weeks just recently. Mm-hmm. You were there to do what?
So I was on an aromatherapy retreat, and so it was really about learning lavender. I mean, we went during full bloom lavender season. France is still the primary grower of lavender. So you just see fields and fields of lavender. And most of that lavender is grown for soaps and things like that. And then what I learned there is that they have a whole high altitude lavender that's grown up in the mountains in France. And it gives a finer oil. And this is actually what we can grow really well because, you know, Denver, we're high altitude. So between like 2,500 and 6,000 feet, they consider this high altitude lavender. And it's because water boils at a different temperature here. The chemicals are released differently. And so the lavender that we grow is this fine lavender. And so, yeah, I just started distilling all of our own essential oil, making products out of it. And now our lavender is producing a lot. So it's really fun.
Okay, you're going to laugh at me. Is this lavender?
Yes. Good job, Barbara. Yes.
Did I get an A?
Yes, you get an A+. Gold star. That is lavender.
So this is lavender.
Yes.
And because it's just so beautiful how you brought some of the plants from your flower farm. Yes. Can you tell us what we're looking at?
Yeah.
You said this one has seeds in it. Yeah. It's kind of creepy looking to me.
But an Nigella pod. This is a beautiful pod.
It looks like it wants to eat me.
I know. It's a little scary, but... So all of these are actually herbs. So they're all herbs.
I can smell them.
Can you smell them? They're very fragrant. So in the middle of the summer when it's so hot, right? And we as humans are like dying of the heat, right? We're just overwhelmed. And it's a beautiful thing that herbs come at this moment when we need them the most. So lavender, yarrow, this is monarda, dara, sage, mint in there, echinacea, So all of these are herbs that can be used for medicinal purposes, from whether it's distilling, drying, drinking tea, lots of different things that you can use them.
Making the transition or transformation, in essence, from corporate to being an entrepreneur. Because women, in particular, over a certain age, are starting more companies today. But it's a big fear. It's a, oh my goodness, I'm going from, corporate America to doing my own thing. Can you share with us about that decision you made, knowing you have a family, you've got mouths to feed, the whole bit? Tell us more about that decision between yourself and your family.
Yes. So it's a hard decision. The corporate America gives so many securities, right? It's like you just have the security, this consistent income. And when you go out on your own, it's so risky and you don't have that consistent income. And so it's scary. It's hard to do. And I didn't do it like direct. It was kind of like a slow process for me, but I feel like everything that I learned doing my corporate job, I'm doing it now, but I have so much more passion and purpose because it's something that I love to do. So it's like all those skills that I gained, I'm not wasting those skills. I'm just using the marketing, the sales, the distribution, the pricing, all of the stuff that goes into that I learned from doing that for someone else's business. Now I do it for my own business, and I'm so invested in it. And I think what gave me the push was knowing that I am the biggest model for my children. Like if I want my kids to go after their dreams, I have to go after mine because they're watching me like a hawk. I know it. And it's like I can feel it. And I just know that I have to live so authentically, and I'm hoping that will rub off on my own kids and I can just live my life to the fullest and have no regrets, but it's not easy. I didn't make money for a long time, so it's like we had 2 incomes in our homes that was helpful. And it was just like bare bones for a while. And even now, it's hard to make money in farming. And so you have to be creative. You have to do other things like online classes or products or all of these. You think that you're just going to be gardening and selling flowers. That is like so far from the truth. It's like any business. You have multiple distribution channels, so many things that you have to do. You never really get to rest because you're always thinking about your business. So it's different. It's like I probably work more hours now, but I love doing it. So it's like it doesn't feel like work. It's like I'm constantly I'm able to be creative, whether it's on the marketing side or the design side or the business and finance side. I see it all.
What advice would you give a human who decides, especially in this time of life, this is adolescence, to go for it?
Gosh,
That's a hard one.
It's a hard one, but life is short, especially when you hit 40s, like we're talking about, like in my 40s, this is when all of this happened, right? Like my 40s, but I feel like I had this new shift of energy, that I had all of this experience from my corporate life, career, to then being a mother and like balancing all of these different balls and just multitasking, to now my children were a little bit older. I had this new wave of energy. And I feel, even my friends, I feel like every single one of my friends hits 40 and they want to run a marathon. I don't know what it is about women, but it's like there's this energy that we get. And I feel like that is so beneficial to put that into your next phase, whether it's running a new business or whatever it is. But we have so much to give and so many life experiences to pull from. So don't think that your corporate experience is like to waste. You just use all of those things and just shift it into a new perspective, and it just like takes off.
Gosh, thank you so much for today. This has been so wonderful. I can't wait for people to experience your flower farm. Can you tell us the name of it, by the way?
The flower farm is called She Grows. So it's all about, helping women grow personally, but then also growing lots of flowers.
Love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Barbara. I loved being here with you.